Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
So back in August of 2022, we invested in a lithium tech company called EnergyX.
We just revisited EnergyX's new facilities in Austin, Texas.
We got an inside tour of what they've been working on now and got an exclusive interview with EnergyX's founder and CEO, Teague Egan.
We got updates from Teague on everything EnergyX is working on, including their latest battery-grade lithium resource acquisitions to their latest announcement about their nuclear energy plans.
But you know what? Before we get into all that, can you just remind me how their lithium technology works?
Yeah, EnergyX pumps salty brine out of the ground, which then goes through 3 patented processes.
Okay.
Adsorption, solvent extraction, and membranes. Adsorption is where they make these specially formulated reusable little balls. They pack them in a column and they flow brine through it. The balls grab onto just the lithium, allowing other salts and impurities to be separated.
You said the balls are reusable?
Yeah, after they capture the lithium, you just flush the column with water, which carries away the lithium, and you repeat the process.
Okay, so that's adsorption. What's the next step?
In solvent extraction, the concentration of lithium is increased by mixing the lithium solution with a specially designed reagent, which absorbs and concentrates the lithium. Again, in this process, their specially formulated reagent is reusable. Now the lithium is at a higher concentration.
Okay, so what's the last step?
Using their proprietary membrane technology, EnergyX flows the concentrated lithium solution through an electrically charged stack of membranes. It concentrates the lithium even further, resulting in lithium hydroxide for lithium-ion batteries that are used in everything from laptops and phones to electric vehicles.
Wait, so unlike regular mining, which creates a giant mess, I mean, we're talking blasting, giant pits, trucks, trains, refining, chemicals, tailings.
Yeah, hard rock spodumene mining is a messy business. But EnergyX doesn't do any of that. They're actually cleaning the brine water that they pump out of the ground.
And then what do they do with it?
Some of it gets purified and reused in their processes, and most of it ends up being pumped back into the ground, even cleaner than how they found it.
All right, so when we visited EnergyX in 2024, they had a small pilot plant at their previous startup location in Austin. But on our latest visit, we found EnergyX has done a lot of expanding.
Yeah, we toured their new headquarters in Austin, Texas, and we got the lowdown of what they're working on now.
So now we're going to enter the pilot plant.
Okay.
This is the good stuff. This is where we make lithium. Testing exclusively our Smackover brine from Northeast Texas for Project Lone Star.
Wait, what's their Project Lone Star again?
As EnergyX has been innovating their direct lithium extraction or DLE technology, they've also been acquiring their own lithium resources. Project Lone Star is EnergyX's 47,500 acre property in what's called the Smackover Formation of northern Texas.
What's the Smackover Formation?
That's a super lithium dense, naturally occurring brine formation right here in the US. EnergyX is just about to cut the ribbon on their huge new demo facility there that will be refining 130 times more lithium than their existing pilot plant. Some serious output to prove their technology before the final step of going to full-scale production.
Exciting stuff, and that's why we're going to be going back to visit next month. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of that exciting news. Okay, before we go any further, I need some kind of visual to help me understand how much lithium goes into an EV, because I've heard lithium described as like this salt that you sprinkle on the battery salad.
Yeah, let me help you. I talked to Teague about that.
Ooh. All right, so Teague, this is a lot of lithium hydroxide.
Do a squat.
Much? Yeah. How much? I'll ask you the question while I do this. How much lithium hydroxide goes into a Model Y battery pack?
So 2 of these bags go into 1 Model Y, approximately.
Oh my God, that's a lot.
Yeah, this is not light.
This is not light. And this is only half.
Yeah, that's half.
So what about like a cyber truck or something?
A cyber truck, I would probably say 4 of these bags of lithium go into a cyber truck.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Wow, I always thought people were like, oh, it's the salts that you sprinkle on top of the battery.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
It's a lot of lithium.
How much is a bag like that worth?
So today, it's about $20 per kg. That price fluctuates. So 25 kgs, you're looking at about $500 worth of lithium per Model Y or Model 3.
Wow.
Wow, look over there, Teague.
I know.
So, does that help?
Oh, wow. I had no idea that much lithium was needed for the average car battery. I thought it was just like a little salt packet.
Nope. I couldn't even lift all the lithium that goes into an EV battery. I mean, you just saw that.
Glad you didn't throw your back out. Okay, so if Project Lone Star is going to be producing 130 times what their pilot plant is making, how much lithium is going to be produced when EnergyX gets to full production?
So you mentioned your demo plant is doing 250 tons of lithium per year. That's equivalent to 5,000 like Model Y battery packs. That's pretty cool already, but that's just your demo plant. You have plans for 2 production plants. How much lithium are they going to be producing a year?
Yeah. We're building 2 production plants, one in Chile, where we own our own resource, and then one in Texas, where we own our own resource. And each production plant is planned for 50,000 tons per year of lithium. And that roughly equates, assuming that an EV uses about 50 kilograms per EV, would be 1 million EVs per plant or 2 million EVs total for both your plants combined per year.
That's crazy.
It's a lot of EVs.
Yeah.
So we have an inherent built-in advantage to grow into be the biggest lithium company in the world because of our cost structure.
Wait, so theoretically, with this technology, EnergyX could supply all the lithium for Earth?
Yeah, this tech really unlocks production in terms of scale and cost.
Our plant in Chile that we're building, Project Black Giant, has $12,500 per ton capex. So for instance, if we're building a 50,000 ton plant, you multiply 50,000 times 12,500, you roughly come out with 650 million-ish, kind of something like that, right? The spodumene capex per ton, let's just say this new Lithium Americas plant, which is clay, which is close to hard rock, is $72,000 per ton capex. So 50,000 tons times 72,000 is what, like $3.6 or $7 billion of capex compared to our 625 million.
Wow.
$3 billion less
And making
to build the
same
same
amount of lithium.
volume of lithium. Wow. Then, even more importantly, is the OpEx.
Yes.
Our OpEx down in Chile is $2,950. Let's just call it $3,000 per ton to be fair. Some of these hard rock producers are up into $8,000-9,000 per ton. So that's their OpEx. Then you can amortize that CapEx over, say, 20 years. But for us, we're amortizing the CapEx over 20 years. So let's just say that's $500, $600 per ton plus the OpEx are your $3,600 all in. They are 8,000. Let's just say, 8,000. 72,000 divided by 20 is like an extra, let's call it 3,500 plus that 8,000. So you're $11,500 per ton all in versus $3,500 per ton all in. I mean, they're 3 times more expensive. So we're 80% or 70% less expensive. I mean, when the price of lithium is around $12,000 a ton, like it's been the past 2 years, those companies literally need to put their projects on care and maintenance. They need to stop producing because they're losing money. And here we would be making a $9,000, a 70% profit margin because our costs are so low because of our technology platform and our resource grade, and because we have fundamentally shifted brine-based extraction from ponds to DLE.
But I mean, hasn't Tesla already solved this problem with their new lithium refinery in Corpus Christi?
Well, I asked Teague about that.
First of all, exciting that Tesla now has a US-based domestic lithium plant. Now, let me correct you a little bit there. It's not a lithium extraction plant. It's a refinery. So they have chosen to build this plant around spodumene hard rock resources. So they'll have this hard rock ore, spodumene ore, shipped in, potentially from Australia, where they do a lot of the mining out of the ground, or Brazil. There's a lot of big spodumene deposits there. There is some in North Carolina. They haven't yet, not when I say they, like the mining company hasn't yet commercialized that. But Tesla's plan is to bring in that feedstock of spodumene ore that contains lithium, and then refine it into lithium hydroxide. I believe they're building 20,000 ton trains. So a 20,000 ton train can roughly produce enough lithium for 400,000 vehicles. And they've done their first train that they've just commissioned. I think they're potentially planning on a second train. But EnergyX specifically chose to develop technology around brine, liquid-based lithium resources, as opposed to the hard rock resources, for a few reasons. One is we feel it's much more environmentally sustainable. So you have to dig up huge chunks of earth, and there's really low percentages of lithium in the rock. You have to move bulk ore to somewhere. And then you have to use big smelters and things to basically heat the lithium out of the ore. There's a fair amount of waste involved. And really importantly, it's a relatively expensive process, the OpEx per ton. For brine-based resources, there's a few advantages. Number one, much lighter touch, much more environmentally sustainable. Number two, and probably the biggest thing, is that in hard rock, you have to dig up that earth and extract that lithium from the ore no matter what. In brine, the way that they were doing it before was they would bring the brine up in wells, we have to do that, but then they would put it into these huge evaporation ponds. And that is the key fundamental step change, where we don't use evaporation ponds, we just run the brine through essentially a chemical plant, extract the lithium, and then re-inject the brine. So it doesn't disturb the subsurface water table. We see versus ponds, a 3x or 300% increased recovery rate. So the introduction of new technology to brine-based resources is a fundamental step change that improves our unit economics even further, making brine-based lithium much more attractive for customers that can buy it at a lower price than, say, the hard rock stuff.
Okay, but while we're down there, T kind of surprised me because you talked about something called lithium-6 and lithium-7.
You generally have about 7.5% lithium-6 and 92.5% lithium-7.
6-7.
Yeah. 6-7, 6-7. I had to do it. I actually don't even understand what that one means, but I know that everybody said
I know that we had to do it.
Yeah, we had to do it.
I didn't know why, but yeah.
So lithium 6-7.
What? What does that have to do with EV batteries?
Actually, it's a whole other energy stream. I'll have Teague explain.
It's somewhat different than producing lithium for batteries, but it's still lithium. It's just the isotopic derivative of lithium. So lithium naturally comes in about 7.5% lithium-6, which means it has 3 protons, 3 neutrons, and 3 electrons. The 6 being the 3 protons and 3 neutrons. And then 92.5% lithium-7, which means 3 protons, 4 neutrons, 3 electrons. So for nuclear fusion, they really want lithium-6 with only 3 neutrons, because they want to breed that into what's called tritium, which is a hydrogen atom that has 3 neutrons. So hydrogen typically has 1 proton, 1 neutron, and 1 electron. And then there's derivatives of hydrogen called deuterium that have 2 neutrons, so 1 proton, 2 neutrons, 1 electron. Okay. And then tritium, which is 1 proton, 3 neutrons, 1 electron, still hydrogen. And the way to get tritium is to take a lithium-6 isotope that has 3 neutrons and degrade it into, or breed it into tritium. And then what is typical for most fusion reactions is fusing a tritium with a deuterium. So 2 hydrogen atoms, one has 2 neutrons, one has 3 neutrons, and fuse those together. And that's how you create a fusion reaction.
Oh, okay, I get it. This is for fusion reactors, but isn't fusion like far off into the future?
Actually, there's over 40 well-funded companies working on it right now, and EnergyX could supply many of them. But EnergyX is also working on lithium-7, which is used in fission reactors. Again, I'll have Teague explain.
Uranium and plutonium are the main fuel. You need those. Those are the super heavy elements. Uranium is 235 and plutonium is 238. They have a lot of neutrons, a lot of protons, and a lot of electrons. And that's what you split in fission, right? That's how you generate all that power, splitting the atom. But when it splits, you have neutrons flying everywhere. And that's what causes the immense radiation. That's what's dangerous, right? So it's confined in big steel walls, steel and concrete walls. But even inside the reactor, all that radiation is degrading the actual material of the reactor. So there's a specific type of fission reactor that I'm a big believer in. It's called a thorium or a molten salt reactor, where it's not solid uranium pellets in a rod. It is uranium salt in a fluid molten salt loop. And I'm a big believer in these types of fission reactors, again, because at the end of the day, it's what can produce the lowest cost energy, the lowest LCOE, levelized cost of energy, right? And if commercialized, and actually China just commercialized a thorium molten salt, and thorium's another important one because thorium is a lot less expensive than uranium. So you still need a little bit of uranium to start the reaction, but if then you can just add thorium into this, which is 232, so again, a really big atom, it's a very low cost of continual adding the fuel. But where lithium comes into play, you have all these neutrons just firing all over. You need what's called a neutron moderator to try to reduce all this neutron economy of flying and degrading or deteriorating your system. So lithium-7, very high purity lithium-7 is used in these molten salt reactors.
So when we first invested in EnergyX like 5 years ago, I was just thinking about lithium that's needed for electric cars.
Yeah, it was already a great idea if nothing had changed, but a lot has changed since then.
Yeah, right. Now we're talking about Optimus robots, probably billions of them, data centers that need giant batteries around the world, and now robo-taxis like the ones that we rode in down in Austin.
Today, we're offering shares at $11 a share. And there's a minimum investment threshold of, it used to be $1,000 when it was at $10 a share, but the price increased October of last year from 10 to 11. So now the minimum investment is $1,100. So you'd be buying like 100 shares. And because of the increase in price of lithium over the past 6 months, because of some of the substantial progress and announcements that we've made, such as entrance into nuclear, such as the commercialization of our membrane manufacturing line, we do have a forthcoming share price increase on February 26th. So if you want to get in at the $11 per share price, do it before February 26th, and very much looking forward to that and the rest of the year. We have a lot of exciting stuff planned.
That's awesome.
So many of our viewers also invested alongside us and have done really well. But is there any chance that we can still get in for more before they go public?
Yeah, I asked Teague about that.
The average investor who isn't an institutional investor, who isn't accredited, which means that you have like $1 million worth of liquid assets, just your average person can invest a reasonable sum into a company that hopefully will do really, really well. Is that still going on? Is there still opportunity for people to get into EnergyX?
There is, absolutely. We actually have a live offering right now. You can just go on the website in the top right. We have an invest button. And we really implored this retail offering strategy to help finance and fund the company. You know, we have big institutional investors that have backed us, including General Motors, POSCO, the big steel and battery materials company out of Korea, as well as Eni, the big multinational oil and gas company out of Italy. I mean, those are all companies that do $100 billion in revenue a year, and they've invested into us.
If you've been watching Tesla Time News here on Now You know that lithium is going to be an important element for years to come, and being able to mine it and refine it here in the United States is a big deal.
If this video has intrigued you, you can really deep dive more by watching our Disruptive Investing interviews with Teague over on our Disruptive Investing channel.
Yeah, and we also have a really interesting private tour with Teague showing off the entire EnergyX headquarters that you shouldn't miss as well.
Plus, like we said, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss our upcoming visit to the Lone Star demo plant.
So much cool technology all happening so fast.
Don't miss it.
Now you know.